Today I'm going to be making my own embossing folder, and I've got this kit from Cricut, and the directions that are inside of it are to use with your Cricut expressions or your regular Cricut, but I want to use my Gypsy, and so I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out how to do that with a Gypsy. And what the kit comes with is it comes with a clear folder, embossing folder, that you will put sticky backed paper in. There's one embossing sheet that comes with the kit, and it is the size of your folder. And what I'm doing is I am putting it already on my mat. And again, when they want you to do it with just a Cricut, not the Gypsy, they want you to put it in the lower left-hand corner, and then they want you to size it so that your design won't be any bigger than this piece of paper. So I have to know what size this piece of paper is to cut my design, because this will be the part that will go inside the folder, the front and the back, and so I have to use this whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and put that together and show you what I'm doing. Just to let you know, this measures 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. So when I go to use my section on my Gypsy, I will make sure my design is in that rectangle. And I'm going to go ahead and start designing my Gypsy. The first thing I'm going to try is I just grabbed a square, and then I went ahead and changed the proportions by hitting the chain and made it 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. So I know where to put my design. I will get rid of that rectangle when I go to cut, but that'll just give me a place to know where I need to cut. And actually that's going to be on my first layer, and then I'm going to make a second layer, so it won't even be on the page I'm going to cut anyway. It'll just give me the size that I need. Okay, this is my design. What I wanted was clouds and grass, and what I used was Zubalu's clouds, and it had a double outline. And I know that there is a shadow, but I wanted the clouds to be separated, so I used the regular clouds with a double line. I removed the outside line of all of the clouds because that will make a better embossed images, and it will make the clouds separated. I then randomly put them at the top of the image, and there's some overlap, so I'm going to have to put paper on the outside of the overlap imaged area, otherwise it'll cut into my mat. I did the same thing. I used grass from Gypsy Wandering, and I enlarged it. I did not weld it together because I put it close enough together. I did put it closer together, so there wasn't a big gap between the two. So this is going to be my attempt. I haven't cut it out yet, but this is what I'm planning to do. I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like. Just a minute, I'm going to make it a little bit larger so you can see what it looks like too. Okay, that is a little bit of the closer image so you can kind of see. And I hid some of the clouds that are overlapping, but the one right here that's overlapping, I didn't want to hide it because I wanted this section still in it. And this one down here I hid because, again, I wanted a little bit of space between the grass and the clouds. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and see if we can get it to work. The other thing I forgot to say is that you have to cut this out as a multi-cut. On the Gypsy, you can still do that by cutting it twice when it has that little section on the Gypsy to say cut it twice. And because, like I said, I had overlap, I'm putting some cardstock. I mean, it's not really cardstock. It's actually folder that I have that's thicker papers, because I'm going to be doing a multi-cut. So I just put that as the overlap for my cloud. I just wanted to show you where it is that you will do your multi-cutting. When you get to the screen of cutting, there's a section right here that has the number 1. Well, all you do is you set it to the number 2, and then you go ahead and cut your image on your Cricut, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. One other thing I forgot to say is there are settings in the instructions, and what the settings say to do is to set your blade depth at 6, and your speed at 3, the pressure at 5, and like I said, multi-cut at 2. So that's what I've set my machine for. Okay, so they want you to put the negative space in your folder first, and so I have peeled off the negative part and left the rest intact. And then I'm going to have to go ahead and lift this up and try to get it without, or what I might end up doing is just putting it in like that and then unpeel the other side so I know I have it in the right place. Haven't done it yet, but I just wanted to show you they want you to do the negative space, which would be the blue of the sky. They want you to put that part in first. And they actually want you to run it through the Cuttlebug so you know that it's stuck well. Okay, now I took the positive part off, which is on the opposite side, because this part right here is already adhered. And I'm going to be, I took out all the clouds, so they'll stick to this other side. I had a little bit of damage here with the grass. I only have one that I might not be able to get to work, but we'll see how this works. I'm going to go ahead and run this again through the Cricut machine, or Cuttlebug machine. Okay, so doing this process wasn't the easiest thing. I think that I would do a settings of 3. I would cut it out 3 times. In terms of multi-cuts, I would cut out in 3 instead of 2, because if you have any pointy things like I did with the grass, they tend, as you know, anytime you go to cut anything with a Cricut, sometimes the points don't cut really well. And then for some reason a piece of one of the clouds did not have sticky to the back of it, so I went ahead and ran that through the Extron machine so it would adhere. But this is what it looks like, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can emboss it now without the pieces sticking to the paper. But that's the process so far. Okay, so this is my first attempt, and how it embossed. The grass didn't really emboss all that great. I don't know why. Not only that, but it's really kind of tough to try to crank it through the Cuttlebug. It kind of made me wonder if I should just use one bee. And the reason I say that too is this was thinner paper, and it cut right through it. So it does emboss, but also cuts right through it. So I'm going to try to attempt this one more time and maybe just use one bee. But this still. So I cut a piece of die cuts with a view paper. It's a little bit thicker. It's not as thick, I don't think, as the Brazil paper, because I wanted again to have the white core. But when I did that, it would not go through the Cuttlebug where I felt comfortable that it might break my machine. So instead, because I think the reason for that is that you have 2 thicknesses in here. You have the thickness on this side and the thickness on the bottom side, plus another piece of paper in the middle. So it really makes it too thick. So what I did was I used the C, and what I did is I just used enough thickness. This is actually a cardboard folder that I've cut down, and I use that kind of like as a shimmy. Now, I'm not recommending anything. I don't want to, create any problems for your machine, but you can always tell when you go to run something through the machine if it's going to be too tight and if it's going to be enough thickness. This worked for me to be able to make this image turn out the way that I want it to turn out. So anyway, this is what it ended up doing, and I did get my cut at the bottom, or the emboss at the bottom for the grass. So I'm happy with this, doing it in this fashion, whereas using the 2 bees was too much pressure going through, and it cut right through it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this and sand a little bit of the clouds. The other thing is, because you've already got your image on your Gypsy, you can go ahead and cut out more clouds, and they will fit on top if you want them to pop even more, and it would also cut out the grass. The only thing different I would do about the grass, it's going to be hard to put each one of those blades back on, or some of them on. I think I would make it a border and weld them together and put those back on if I wanted to. That's just an option. So just wanted to give you an idea of what you can do with your own embossing folder. I've been wanting a cloud embossing background, and this will work for me. I just wanted to show you I'm really happy with the sanded clouds using the white core paper. I'm not as happy with adding a little bit of ink to the grass below. I think what I would do is probably color them in using my Copic markers instead, or like I said, I might just cut it out as a border and put it on top. So anyway, this is just to give you an idea of what you can do with a card. I'm not going to finish it for this video. I just wanted to give you the idea of something you can do.